All right, today's lesson we're going to talk about improper fractions, and students will be able to write an improper fraction for a model. So what do I mean by improper fraction? Let's look at this image right here. If I'm counting this, we're going to say that Mr. Williams has some strips of wire, and the wire is measured in 1/3 units. So right here he has 1/3. If we put two of them together, I know 1/3 plus 1/3 is the same as 2/3, and I can write it as a fraction or in words. If I have three of them, I have 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, or I have 3/3, or I can write it as 3/3, or I know that's the whole. But what if I had four of them? Now if I look at this, I see I have 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. I have 4/3. This is an improper fraction because the top number is bigger than the numerator is more than the denominator. So we call this an improper fraction. When we looked last week, we talked about mixed numbers. So I know that this was the same as 1 whole plus 1 more third. So 1 and 1/3 is another way to say 4/3. So any fraction that's greater than 1 when it's written like this is called an improper fraction. What if I looked at this picture right here? I can see that these are cut into thirds. So I see right here I've got 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and another 1/3, and another 1/3. So if I add these up, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're broken into thirds. So one way I can say this as an improper fraction is 5/3. I can also, if I want to write it as a mixed number, I see that this is 1 whole, and over here I have 2/3. These fractions are equivalent. This one is called a mixed number. This is called an improper fraction. So your homework today just wants you to look at these different pictures and count them out. We're practicing writing them as fractions and in words. So if I have 1 whole, I want to count how many sevenths that is. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I know it's 7/7. 3/7, how many sevenths is that? It's just 3. What if I have 1 and 3/7? Count all of them up and write that down as how many groups of sevenths. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 sevenths. So I can rewrite that as 10 sevenths, and now I've written an improper fraction. Do the same. If I have 2 whole circles, how many eighths do I have? If I have 3/8, how many eighths do I have? If I have 2 and 3/8, count how many eighths I have and rewrite that as an improper fraction. This page is the same. Count how many, if this one's broken into fifths, I know that I have 5/5 right here. How many more do I have here? Write it as an improper fraction. This one's broken into thirds. Count all the gray. How many are there? Out of how many boxes? Rewrite that again as an improper fraction. And on this page, you're writing it as a mixed number and an improper fraction. So let's do the first one together. I know right now that I have, if I write it as a mixed number, I have 2 whole, and I've got 1, 2, 3 out of 5. So as a mixed number, this picture shows 2 and 3/5. As an improper fraction, I know this is a whole, so I know that's 5/5. So I know there's 5 of them there. 5/5. I know this is a whole, so I know I've got 5/5. So I've got 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13/5 is my improper fraction. Do the same thing for the rest of this page. That's it. Good luck.